Hello, welcome to the TV room. David Bradley here. Things have not been going well, but I have managed. If you were watching the last thing, I was taking apart the mechanism to close the door on a 1571 and putting it back together, and somehow it did not get lined up properly. And the grand result in the end was it's stuck. It's stuck in the wrong position. So I am working now on getting the connectors off of the board, getting the read-write heads disconnected. Ever so delicately. Now this drive, which does not work, I go sit down here, and this drive that was working in its former drive, let's sit here while I see about getting the read-write heads attached properly, which is not the easiest operation. But it should not be this difficult. It's just where it is. It's just there's no room. And then there are these grounding wires. Also, although I did take a bit of a break between the last very frustrating video and this one, it takes a while sometimes to get over such frustrating happenings. And of course, then I get stuck in the fact that I was working on 1571 some while ago when I popped a trace, and that really set me back. So much so that they've been sitting there waiting for me to get back to them. Oh, come on. What is so tough about this? This should not be this difficult. Take the connector with the pliers very gently. Very gently. Oh, man. This is really getting to be something frustrating. Okay. The connector's on. So now I will connect the other connectors, and they seem to cooperate quite well. Well, they seem to. Oh, come on. Okay. Now, we'll move the drive into its potential screwed-in location. We will attach some power. We will attach a cord to go to the 64. All right, are we in? Are we responsive? Oh, are we turned on? Now we are turned Okay, we are somewhat responsive. Okay, so should be a good drive mechanism going into, look at that. Okay, well, at least that works. So indeed, what we have, it would seem, is there we go. I'm using the basic 4 commands because of Bradley's Basic by Matthew Desmond, which is a cartridge that plugs into the cartridge port. Make sure the machine comes up in black and black with white letters, so I don't have to do that. And then away we go. So I will torment this for a while, as I have been tormented. We will run. How many will I'm going to do 10. And I'll just see how this goes. But in the meantime, I've got to figure out how to get this sucker off of there. And it is so hard to tell. But indeed, I guess I was off the mark. It may be that this is the time I kind of almost need a vise and a hammer. Funny, there was a fellow there who was wanting to buy one of these just to get this part. And, or, you know, the door closer. And, so it's working. Okay, so it's working. Beautiful. Beautiful. I'm still tempted to try to get this sucker off. Oh, it's not coming off. It's just not. I have done it up so tight. Just gonna slip off. This is frustrating. Oh dear. Well, let's go back to the bags here. There should be. There's an empty bag. Now, I vowed, I did, that I would keep a Sharpie handy. There it is. What am I doing? Things are falling. 15, 71, door, closer, stuck. There. Always best to write on the bag first. Okay. All right. Put all that in. Put that in. How many? It's funny how many little parts are needed for one little thing. There's the thing you twist. There's a little spacer. There's a little thing to keep it. So anyway, I guess there's 5 parts. There they are. I will get this resolved. Not now, but I will. So I guess now also, what's this? Oh yeah, I should write on that bag again. There's some more empty bags in here. 1571 drive mounting screws plus ground bag always likes to kind of jump around a bit. Oh yeah. This was supposed to be such a simple operation. Okay, so put the screws into the bag. So that at least they're in the bag. Now this one here, this was written in blue and I can't even hardly read it. So 1541 case screws. There. Okay, so that's doing that. So this will be tormented, as will I. As will I. But I will get this resolved. So now I'm getting closer and closer. I've been working downstairs to rescue the 3 disk drives that I was working on, 2 of which belong to another fellow. One of them's mine, but the table down there got kind of full up with stuff. So everything is there. I know everything is there. There we go. 2 passes with 0 errors. Okay, so this is fine. So in the end result here, of the 2 1571s, it seems 2 good power supplies, 2 good boards, 1 disk drive mechanism that does not want to respond, and 1 that will work nicely as a 1541. But the second side, at this moment, from what I can tell, doesn't want to do its thing. But I really have to fire up a 128 and try it without to see what's best, or what's what. So, alright, what did I knock down here? I don't know. I think what I may have knocked down. No, it was not. Look here. Oh, here's the tube. This stuff is called Hob-E Lube Premium with state-of-the-art lubricant additives, ultra light oil. Indeed, I got this some time ago, and it's the first time that I have made use of it. But I think it is a good thing to have, because you can just get just a little squeeze out of it. Maybe I just dropped the serial cable. It's okay. It's alright. Alright, so this is going to test and torment, and I am tormented. I am. And I guess I need to go back downstairs. I need to take this down so it can be washed, not washed. And then I need to bring things up from down there and sort out these drive things. See what's what. It's funny, you know, when you look at the the description of what can be wrong when certain things happen. If you turn a drive on, the lights stay on, and it just spins and spins and spins and spins and spins and spins. There's, I don't remember, it was 8 or 9 chips that could be the problem. And are they socketed? No. Typically, they are not. And that's where I ran into trouble. There we go. With this this trace thing, because I've done this for a long time, but anyway, things happen. You can be as careful and as good and perfect and dandy as wonderful, and sometimes it just goes bad. It just does. All right, I think I have a little something pestering my eye. All right, that feels better. It's funny, that reminds me of a story long ago. First school I was at, there was a boy who came down the hall and he had, toilet paper and water and stuff, and he had certainly something in his eye. And I happened to be there, and I said, "Gee, that looks kind of bad. Looks like you're in some distress." He said, "Oh yeah, it's been like this for like 2 days." And I said, "Oh." And I always preface things with this. I said, "Look, I'm not a doctor, but I've had things in my eye before. And generally, you take water, you take whatever, and, or there's the little eye wash things and other things, and you try things. But look, if you've been, battling with this for 2 days, you really need to see a doctor." And I think he went to the office to call home and do whatever. Anyway, it was not till months, maybe even a year, 2, 3 later, when I bumped into him after he had graduated, and we were at a place in Minden, Ontario, called the Rockcliffe, which is no longer open. But there's kind of, I don't know, it's a long story. I don't even know the story if it's opening or not or what. Anyway, we're there. They were working at a camp, and we just went in, and there were pool tables, and I really didn't see him. He came over to me, and he was perhaps it's possible he'd had a sip of beer. Now, am I worried about this when he's like 21 or 22? No, he's a man. But anyway, I had a hard time figuring out what he was saying. So I had to have him repeat it a number of times, but finally the message came out, and that was that his mother wanted me to know how thankful she was that I had saved his eye. Well, I hadn't saved his eye. I just said, "You really need to get that checked out." Anyway, apparently there was something in there, and I don't know what it was. I don't know whatever, but anyway, definitely it did need medical intervention. And had he not gone, that whatever this was could have continued to dig in, and he could have lost his vision in that eye. So as I say, I am not a doctor. I am not. But there were some times, when you say, "Okay, yeah, I can," like just then, I felt, "Oh, I think I have a little something in my eye." I took some toilet paper. I didn't even put water on it. And I just kind of rubbed it around. It feels fine. Now, if it didn't, I would, say, "Okay, let me see about that." And maybe I would jump in the shower and hold my eye open as best as I could, and do those things. And I may have one of those little eye wash things around. I don't know. But still, and I've done this. It's been a long time, but I remember I woke up years and years and years ago, and my eye was like stuck shut. One of them, just one of them, and it had been fine, and I was like, "This is not good." And so I thought, I'm not going to fight with this. I'm not going to do extraordinary things. I'm going to go get this checked out. And of course, it was a weekend, probably a long weekend, and indeed, it was nothing tragic. Um, and I think they did give me some drops or ointment or something or whatever. But certainly something was upset, and my eye was oozing stuff that then, because I was asleep with my eyes closed, that it had a chance to harden. Anyway, things happen. They do. Actually, just recently, a former student from my first school wrote something very nice, and I will cherish it always. I'll find it. I'll share it with you. By the way, this has now gone through 5 times, and it's fine. And you know, dealing with young people and dealing with anybody, I've always found you can't make anybody do something they don't want to do. And the best thing to do is listen and stay calm, no matter how strange or outrageous or like, you did what? Don't say that. Just say, oh, okay, yeah, I see, yeah. And and I mean, if it's really beyond, like if they're saying, I'm going to kill myself, and it's, yes, okay, you get, talk, keep talking, keep talking, keep talking, keep listening, and let them, do it. But B, um, summon whatever resources are required and get them help. Anyway, I have many, 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 many stories. But anyway, but mostly, just talk to them and let them get it out. And then, um, you can offer some suggestions. I mean, the best thing is, and some people say, oh, how passive aggressive of you. The best thing is to come up with something that somehow they thought of and that they believe in and that they will put into practice or they will try, rather than saying, this is what you have to do, you must do it, you must do it this way. That will never fly. And people don't understand. And it boggles me because, of course, everybody knows that if someone comes up and says, you're going to do this, your back goes up and immediately say, no, I'm not. So to me, it's so simple. Listen, assess, work with the person to come up with something, if you are able, that would possibly be an effective solution. And if you, once again, if you need more people, you need more resources, you need whatever, then you summon them. But you keep them calm and make sure that they know that you're here to help. And above all, listen. We had a thing at second school I was at called DEAR, drop everything and read. And I had what I called DEAL, that is drop everything and listen. Because, things happen. People get upset. And sometimes they're rightfully upset, sometimes they're mistaken. I'll never forget when there was this one student who was as sure as she could be, that the fellow running the swim team was favoring the senior students, and that is why she didn't make it to the next round of whatever the competitions were. He wasn't there that day to talk to. But I said, I don't believe it. I don't believe it. He goes by the rules on who qualifies and who doesn't. He doesn't want to take people who, like, he wants to give the team, because you're limited on how many people you take, he wants to give the team the best chance of being successful. And actually, one year they did win the Ontario Championship. Anyway, but he wasn't there that day to defend himself. So we went to the cafeteria. I got them some milk and cookies, and I said, look, we'll get this sorted out tomorrow. Anyway, I'm not a swimmer, and but it's always nice to see, like, when Summer McIntosh keeps setting world records, it's just magical. But the pools now that are made now are in meters. But in the old days, a lot of pools were measured in yards. But now the international standard, from what I know, is meters. And one would think, oh, that doesn't make any difference, but it does. So anyway, this student, who thought that they had qualified when they had not, was absolutely sure that they had, the things that were done, the times that were reflective of their capabilities, were done in meter pools, but they were not. They were done in yard pools. And as you say, when you think of it, it's not that big a distance. Like a yard is 36 inches. A meter is 100 centimeters. And let me think. Something tells me that I think a meter is 39 inches rather than 36. I could be wrong. I don't know why I'm thinking that. Let me think about that. 2.54 is an inch. There's 2.54 inches in. No. There's 2.54 centimeters in an inch. There are. So when you have 100, oh, I'm tired. 36 times 2.54. Just a moment. I should know this. But as I say, I'm kind of tired. Just give me the calculator thing. I hate when they look for every opportunity to find something. All right. So 100 times 2.54 equals. What am I doing? Of course, it's 254. Okay, so 254 divided by 12 equals. What am I doing? 21. That's not what I wanted to do. All right, 36 inches times 2.54 equals. Aha, okay. So the equivalent centimeters to 36 inches is 91.44. So we have 8.54. Oops, stop that, don't go away. 8.54. Yeah, it's about 3 inches. Right upon 2. Okay, so yeah, it's okay, roughly 39, 36. But over the course of 25, when you add 3 inches to meters and such, that is roughly 75 inches. So if you have a time that you think was in a meter pool, and it was in a yard pool, it's not a significant difference, but it's enough of a difference to have you, like, they're measuring things in thousands of a second. So anyway, thankfully, the fellow wasn't there that day because the student, I think, would have hurt him. Although I don't, we would have sorted it out. And I wish he'd been there because look, let's talk. But anyway, the next day, they were calmed and cool, and they went to investigate. And they did come back to me and said, I was mistaken. And all that rage and all that pain and all those tears were to do with the conversion between metric and imperial. Anyway, I have many, many, many more stories. I'm just glad that I was there to do what I could to give them a chance to be open to the possibility that they were mistaken. And in fact, some while later, the parental unit of this swimmer was at some event and saw me and did thank me for calming the waters. Alright, so this has now gone through 8 times. It's in the midst of things. I'm not going to wait for 10. I didn't even intend to wait for this. So, thanks for coming. I think I need to copy things, and I think I need to charge the phone. And, yeah, and as for that door, I need to sort that out too. There's got to be a better way. Anyway, now that I'm going to be looking at 1571s, I won't do that again. It should have just fit in nicely. Or at least somewhat nicely. Anyway, thanks for coming. Have a lovely day. Bye for now.